Good morning.
Howdy.
What?
You heard me. I stand by it.
Okay. What episode of Murder, She Wrote did you watch last that you're saying howdy?
No, I don't know.
Father's Day is behind us, and I hope that you had a great holiday season for Father's Day. We're getting a little Father's Day rollover for the next week or two.
We are not.
But I had a great Father's Day.
I'm glad.
Had a good time at church. We had our Dude's Day buffet, so got all kinds of snacks and drinks, and then came home to crab and shrimp stuffed shells with Alfredo and cheese, which was amazing.
It sounds so gross, and I did have one, and it wasn't bad, but it was snow crab, and I spent probably an hour and a half Sunday morning before church cracking and shelling?
Yeah.
What do they call that? Shelling the crab for his meal that he requested, and
It wasn't that long.
It was so long.
I know, but it wasn't. There's no way it was an hour and a half.
It had to be at least an hour.
But then after lunch, took a long nap. We watched a movie as a family or something. Mm-hmm. Took a long nap, and then my friend Troy texted me, and we went on a double date to watch Bad Boys.
He ditched his kids on Father's Day. I was like, man, Father's Day is so different than Mother's Day. It's very chill, and then we don't necessarily have the kids around.
Yeah, it was great. So, hope you had a great Father's Day. And we want to invite you to Flagler Beach because we're getting ready for a relationship refresh. People are going to familymeeting.org/shop and getting their tickets. So, $25 per couple. Can't beat that. It's be a great time for your marriage, and you can get away. So we're looking forward to that time with all of our friends and listeners, and we'd love to have you join us.
Yes, we would.
So what's today's episode? What do we got going on here?
We're talking about social media and the way that it can affect your own relationship when you see other people post the highlight reel of their relationship.
I feel like our relationship is a low light reel.
Yeah. I agree.
So, you ready?
Yeah. Anytime you want to start.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here.
I feel like I'm doing most of the talking today, which is weird.
You are doing most of the talking.
We finished up a paint job. We've been working the last 2 days at a paint job doing mostly ceilings. And we both woke up today like sore and tired.
Groaning and grunting every time we have to stand up. We're getting old, babe.
Speak for yourself.
I'm speaking for
I'm getting
you.
younger. I'm getting younger.
That's not what those crow's feet are saying.
Wow. Now I gotta do the whole episode like this.
Yeah. More like this. I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'm not a plastic surgeon.
Start us out, love.
All right. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, Meanie.
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 195 of the Family Meeting podcast. We're glad you're with us today. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the jealousy and envy that social media can create. It's tempting to compare our relationship to other married people's highlight reel. And then our relationship seems kind of pathetic, right?
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So at the very least, we agree our relationship is pathetic. But social media can leave us thinking that our relationship is subpar, but is it really? And so we're going to kind of dive into that. We're going to look at this from a couple of different angles today.
And maybe it is subpar, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
You could have your relationship refreshed.
Oh, nice segue.
July 12th and 13th in beautiful Flagler Beach. And $25 a couple. You can have your whole relationship refreshed. There is not a money-back guarantee, but it could happen. So come on down. We'll have a great time. We're going to be doing a series of sessions on We Need to Talk. And talking and discussing some different things that you need to learn to communicate about. So it'll be a very helpful time. If nothing else, it'll bring up some good conversation starters between you and your spouse. And anytime you get to talking and communicating well with one another, then your relationship does grow. It does get better. And so want to encourage you to be a part of us. You can go to familymeeting.org/shop and get your tickets to Relationship Refresh right now. No, seriously. Do it right now.
All right. Done. Got it.
It's that fast.
Okay. So as we prepare for each topic each week on our family meeting podcast, Thomas and I, we discuss it, we research it, we pray about it. And in doing so, our minds are somewhat open to that particular topic for the week. It's kind of like it's the thing that's on our mind. So we notice it in other couples or other parents maybe. We'll notice it in TV shows we watch or whatever. And this is kind of fascinating because Memes, yes. Oh, yeah. We always end up seeing the memes on the topic. And it's always interesting when something pertaining to the topic for the week comes up on the radio or the news, and that's exactly what happened this week. So I'm going to share with you what is happening in social media and our government for a minute. This is not something we normally talk about on our episodes.
No, but usually when government gets involved, things don't tend to get better. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it may not get better, but I think that what's cool about our topic this week is it's definitely relevant, and we can see that because of what's happening in our country. So this is not the exact direction of our podcast for today. This is not what we're going to talk about the whole episode, but I feel like it's pertinent to the discussion and it's interesting information for families to understand. Okay, so it's the Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy. How'd I do?
Vivek? Yeah,
I think.
That sounds good. But what is a Surgeon General?
Oh.
Is that like the general of all the surgeons?
Yeah. Yep.
Like top surgeon?
He is in charge of all surgeons.
Is that a he? Vivek?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He says that the threat social media poses to children requires urgent action. He demanded Congress to put a label on the apps as it does with cigarettes and alcohol. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is very fascinating. Now, I wonder what he means by like children. Like, what's his age range? Because I know they have you're supposed to... Now, I know parents often do this where it's like you're not supposed to be on it until 13 according to the app itself. Now, for us, we've set it higher than that. 16 is the age we set for our kids. But a lot of times parents have their kids on there at 8, 9, 10 years old, which I don't think is good. But
no, and they lie about the age. But they are saying, I think it was him, because I read the whole article. I didn't write it all down, but in the article he says that social media, they should not be having social media at the age of 13. It's too young. They also are talking about not having I don't remember who it was, but someone put out there that they should not have phones at school. School should be a phone-free zone. So just like, family mealtime or the dinner table should be a phone-free zone. So I thought it's interesting, just like the discussion that is happening in our world.
Yeah. Now, I see both sides of the phone conversation.
Yeah.
Because if there's an emergency, then you want to be able to have your phone. But here's what the Surgeon General had to say. The mental health crisis among young people is an emergency, and social media has emerged as an important contributor. So he said this in the New York Times on Monday, just a couple days ago. I put forward this call for a warning because I think it's essential that parents know what we now know, which is that there are significant harms associated with social media use. And it is one of they've known this for a while, but this is one of the reasons why we say we set the limit for our kids at 16, because we do understand there is that risk that is involved with it, especially mentally, and just, you becoming addicted to it and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Similar labels on tobacco first instituted in 1965. So did you know that? I didn't know that it was that early on that they put the warning labels on tobacco. But it led to a steady decline in cigarette smoking in America over the past several decades. And you think about all of the commercials and stuff that especially came out when we were teenagers in the 90s about like what smoking does to you and what drugs do to you, like the fried egg commercial, remember?
I do, yeah. This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah, like they really did a push for it. And I do think it changed the way the culture as a whole view like smoking, drinking, and drugs as a whole.
Yeah, but I think the biggest... This is just my opinion. One of the biggest factors on the decline of especially tobacco is the tax on it.
Oh.
Like it has become a really expensive habit.
Yeah, for sure. But what the Surgeon General says is that alcohol and cigarettes are currently the only two products with Surgeon General warning labels, but that the overall health risk of social media is just as profound. That's an opinion. May not be true at all. But we're talking about the mental health and well-being of kids, he says. So our episode is about the effects of social media and what they can have on our relationship. But this information shows just how powerful social media really is.
Now, we're not knocking social media at all. We actually love it. And we see it as a way to stay connected with friends around the world. And we see it as a resource to be used for good. Obviously, all around social media, you can find my wife and I and family meeting as well. But it should also be understood as a powerful influence, whether good or bad, which does mean it can be dangerous in a similar way that other media outlets can be good or bad, like television.
Or internet in general, I guess.
So any technology, firearms, they're a technology and they can be used for good or bad. And there's a lot of heated debate and discussion about that. It can cause us to set unreasonable expectations in our relationship. And that is kind of what we want to focus in on today is social media and your relationship with your husband or with your wife. And when a man sees another couple posting something romantic that the guy did for his wife, he may feel inadequate. And there's oftentimes where in jest, we might say to somebody or underneath their post or in person or text, dude, you're making all of us husbands look bad.
Yeah.
Buying your wife the flowers and taking her out on fancy dates and going dancing and everything else.
Or hashtag relationship goals.
So.
Or whatever.
Meanwhile, the wife may see that same post and think her husband doesn't love her as much as that guy loves his wife. And what she doesn't know is that dude got himself in a lot of trouble and he's just trying to make up for it. So, but they didn't post about the things that they did to get in trouble, right? Exactly. Or she may think he's more romantic and invested in his marriage and then become somewhat dissatisfied with her own husband.
And it's like you just kind of alluded to, you have no idea what's going behind that one romantic post. It's not to say that every time you see a romantic post that the guy's in trouble. That's not necessarily the case.
No, he probably is.
You've been romantic more than once to me.
Yeah. It was either I was in trouble or I was trying to spend some quality time with you later on that day.
Okay. So there are no pure motives for men being romantic.
Probably not.
Well, there's that. Any ladies disappointed now?
Is this a surprise? Ladies are often disappointed by their husbands in a lot of different ways.
Why don't we post that on social media?
We do. It's called In the Family Meeting Community. That's where you see what couples are really like.
Yeah, and it is funny how many memes are posted in the family meeting community where I'm like, oh, that's us, or oh, that's you, or like, you just totally relate to whatever it is. But there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And it's not that when we see a romantic post or something beautiful happening in someone else's life, we should automatically be like, that's not real. It's not that. That's not the kind of attitude that we're encouraging you to have. But just to understand that there is more to the story, and that's probably part of their highlight reel. Okay, let me ask you this question, Thomas, and I also want all of our listeners to answer this in their minds or out loud with their spouse, wherever you are.
Okay.
All right, have you ever seen a friend couple post a picture or, multiple pictures and thought, I wish my relationship was like theirs?
No, I don't think so. Now, I've looked at post and things like maybe they have of places they visited and thought, oh, I'd like to take Lysandra there someday.
Me too. I
And
thought I would like Thomas to take me there someday.
in fact, Lysandra and I will often message each other like different places that we see and like, hey, let's go here or take me here someday or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But me personally, that's not something but that's not an issue I have in any area of my life. Like I've never looked at somebody's anything and was jealous or it's like, I wish I had that or I could do that or,
You must really think you're something special.
I don't. That's just, I have a lot of areas where I struggle with. This is just not one of my issues.
Right, exactly. Now, I am a super comparison person. I compare myself with everyone, and I always come up wanting. It's like a personal issue. So Thomas says this is not his personal issue. I definitely have that issue of like comparing myself. Now, I can't say that I've ever really thought to myself like, oh, I wish I had their relationship. I have definitely thought like, oh, I wish we would do more of that. For instance, dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love dancing so much. And Thomas gets on the dance floor and is like stiff as a board and so uncomfortable. He tries.
Yeah.
He tries, but he's so stiff and uncomfortable. And I want him to want to dance, and he will dance for me out of the goodness of his heart, but I know that he hates it. And so I've had like those thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wish we danced more, or definitely like, oh, I want to go there someday. But I don't know if any of it has ever turned to what I would use as jealousy or maybe not envy, really.
Now, we have had this conversation before. It wasn't social media related, but it was just, it was about a couple we kind of knew, didn't know them very well. We just kind of knew them. And you had relayed to me some feelings about, I wish that Thomas was more like this person, this guy, in certain aspects of their relationship. Yeah. So it wasn't social media related, but it was in the area of looking at a relationship and thinking, I wish my husband was more like this guy.
Yeah. And I don't, in my mind, I want to say that's not jealousy, but maybe that is the very definition of jealousy.
So, and that was until we got to know him and you're like, no, my husband is like way better than this dude. So
did I ever say that?
You did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did. Because you realize that just because they excel in one area does not mean that they excel in others. So
what she's saying, people, and you're not hearing it, but I'm going to make it very plain for you, is my good does outweigh the bad.
It does. Your good outweighs.
There's a whole lot of bad, but some things are really good, and that makes up for it.
Your good far outweighs your bad.
Well, I wouldn't say far, but as long as it's a little.
Okay. So maybe you've thought after a social media post, I wish my relationship was like theirs, or I wish my husband was like her husband. I wish my wife was like his wife. Social media can evoke feelings of inadequacy, envy, jealousy, and discontentment. So it's something to be aware of and guard against. As we've said before, like we're not opposed to social media at all. We're all over social media. However, this is something to be aware of, especially if you have a problem with comparison or jealousy or whatever. It's just something to be aware of. Or maybe it is your spouse and you need to be aware that your spouse has an issue with jealousy or discontentment or comparison, and just understand that it's true. But the thing to remember is that social media is the highlight reel of everyone's life. It's their best moments. When you see that couple posting their amazing cruise to the Bahamas, you might feel like your relationship stinks because you're watching their cruise adventure. Fine dining, formal black tie event photos. Ooh, sounds great. Excursions from one island to the next, and romantic kisses at sunset. And you're scrolling through all these photos from your couch where your husband is snoring with his mouth open, loosely holding a bag of Doritos, and you're wearing holey sweatpants and a food-stained t-shirt.
This sounds oddly familiar.
Your life and your relationship at that point feels pretty crappy.
This feels like very personal right now. Who do we know that was just on a cruise? I feel like this was like last night.
We weren't on the couch. We were in bed.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Definitely not us.
And it was Publix chicken wings, not Doritos.
There were no Doritos. Yeah, we ate Publix chicken wings in bed last night.
Well, you were out dancing on your cruise. Sucks to be you. You were dressed up.
We were comfortable, I will say that. Okay, but listen, like, that's real. Like, it's very real. And the truth is, like that couple who was on the cruise, they probably had 150 nights of, Doritos on the couch or chicken wings in the bed in the sweats. And then 4 days of fabulous cruise life that they posted all over, right? That is their highlight reel. We don't live in a highlight reel. We live in reality.
Well, and here's the thing. This is not a new problem as far as like looking at another couple and seeing the good moments and kind of feeling the jealousy or that your relationship isn't as bad, as good, and looking down on your own relationship. Like, that's always been true. Whether it's watching some movie or television show,
Yes.
reading some sort of book, romance novel, or whatever else, and you think that your relationship. But I think what it has done, social media has done, is it's kind of expounded it. Mm-hmm. And because it takes it from like something that's not necessarily real, at least not to you, because you don't know these people. Like, it's just a movie star, it's just a fictional character book, or it's some Hollywood whatever, to people you know. And you're scrolling it nonstop versus watching a movie or reading your book for a while.
I have absolutely watched rom-coms and been like, oh, I wish we were more like that. I have totally thought that.
We are like that. We're just like the before they actually get together like that.
And they're mean to each other and hate each other.
Yeah, we're in that phase. So we just got to wait for the story arc to come around.
All right, well, I'm waiting.
Yeah. So it doesn't happen till the end. So the end of the movie. So
So death?
Right,
I'm looking
right.
forward to death?
right before death is when that sweet spot will hit.
I've been looking forward to death for a long time, baby.
Yep. So Psych Central, which sounds totally fake, or like the Central Agency for Psychics or something, but they put out an interesting article on this subject.
Okay.
Social media can set unrealistic relationship expectations. It said that comparison is the thief of joy, and you've heard that before. Mm-hmm. Yet we all tend to compare ourselves to others, especially through social media. You might look at the hashtag relationship goals posts on Instagram and feel like your relationship is lacking, even if you usually feel happy with it.
That's when you know there's a problem.
Like, you feel good about it, and then all of a sudden you're looking through these posts on Insta, on the gram, and...
On IG.
Yes, IGTV. And that is... And then you begin to have these feelings about your own. And so that's a big time negative it's having on your relationship.
Yeah, you can definitely tell if like you felt good about your relationship until you got on Instagram. And then it changed. That's when you know, okay, there's a situation here. There's a problem, and the heart of it is social media. And then you need to rethink some things, which we're going to get into that in a minute. But according to this article, a 2018 study looked at social media and relationship satisfaction. Okay. Those who felt social media played a big role in their lives tended to find their romantic relationships less satisfying.
Yeah, because, your focus is all virtual.
Yeah.
Instead of here and now in reality.
And I think one of the most important things is having a balance between social media and your reality. Think about the balance and where does that balance need to end up. Increased Instagram usage can lead to a decrease in relationship satisfaction and an increase in conflict and negative outcomes, according to a 2021 study.
Which is funny because I go on Instagram to post. Like, I might make one post every other day or whatever on Instagram, if that. Like, I go on, I make the post, and I'm off Instagram. Like,
is that because you are old?
Maybe. It's just not my thing. Like,
you hang out on Facebook.
I don't like to just sit and scroll through photos.
What makes you want to be more active in Facebook than Instagram?
I don't know, just the social interaction I have with people on there versus somewhere else.
Yeah. Other apps, it seems like there's not as many like back and forth comments, and it's less social and more you just kind of look.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this dissatisfaction and conflict can then fuel an excessive use of Instagram. We tend to post the highlights of our relationships on social media, gifts from our partners, couples getaway, and romantic grand gestures. Compare this to your everyday life with your partner, and it might seem dull. No truer words spoken.
Hashtag trimming her toenails again.
Thomas takes care of my toenails, you guys.
I feel like we need to make a social media post about it, just to post reality.
We do need to start making some social media posts of our reality, of our real reality. I think that's what we need to do after this episode.
Just make sure you have your makeup and your hair done and all that first.
No. I mean, I'm not going to be completely without makeup, but I won't be like first thing in the morning. I'll be like weathered after a long day makeup. And my toenails do need to be trimmed again.
Okay.
So this is a good time for it. Is anyone grossed out?
We'll go live for that.
It's going to be horrible.
But let's change the way we think about others' highlight reels.
Okay.
Let's first of all be happy for them.
Okay.
It is so funny how it can be so hard for us to be happy for somebody else, even the people that we really love. Like we look at something happening in their life or that they post or whatever, and instead of automatically thinking, "Oh, that's so cool, they got to do that," and think about the time and the energy and everything that they saved and sacrificed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Our first thought is like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. Why can't I be there?" or whatever.
Mm-hmm. They're so lucky.
And so learning to be happy for them.
Yeah.
Secondly, let's dive into the feelings we feel. If you feel like your wife isn't as fun as the wife you see on social media, then stop for a moment and think about why. Okay?
Okay. So this is one example of like a way that somebody may become discontented with their relationship after seeing social media.
Yeah, because it's like or maybe you're listening to or watching a podcast and like all of a sudden like somebody pulls an egg out of their pocket.
I swear if you do, I will hurt you.
And smashes it on their wife's head.
Anyone has ever watched you smash an egg on my head and thought, I wish my husband was more like that. If they did, they're insane. Okay.
No, but they've thought like, oh, I wish my wife could handle that.
Oh, okay. I did not see that from your perspective. Have you ever thought, I wish my wife was more fun?
I wish my wife. No, I think
really, because I'm like totally the fun police.
Yeah, but you still go along with the fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're fun. We have fun together.
All right.
I've smashed an egg over your head more than once, and we're still married. So, we've had butter fights and Mountain Dew fights and everything else.
Water fights.
Yeah,
a lot of fights.
Yeah. Okay. So like, we may look at something like that and think, well, I wish I could have that type of interaction with my wife, right?
Okay.
But the question is this: have you created an environment where your wife feels safe enough to be fun?
Okay.
Because you know you can trust me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to cross a line that you don't want me to cross. Mm-hmm. And we have that relationship where we've laid out some boundaries about all that. And I also know like when you're done, where you're just like, okay, this is not fun anymore. But maybe she's overwhelmed with bills, schedule, and kids to let her hair down and be goofy with you. And we do have moments like that where you've got a lot going on and we got circumstances in our family that are happening where it's just like, this is not a time where we have a lot of fun. Like that. Have you lost her trust so she can no longer has the desire to be fun? Is she sad for some reason? So what I'm saying is rather than buy into the idea that their life or wife is better than yours, explore why you may feel dissatisfied with your life and relationship, and think about how you can invest in your own. So talk to your wife and ask her if there's anything you can do to lighten her load, or if you can help relieve her stress. Maybe tell her you want to have more fun in your relationship and just having a conversation about it. Ask what kinds of things does she think would be fun. So maybe she does think it would be fun to smash an egg on her head.
I can't imagine she would.
Now, one way you can test it out is just wait till she gets out of the shower. And as soon as she's out of the shower, just smash an egg over her head and just see what her reaction is.
Do not recommend.
So you'll find out very quickly if she thinks that's fun or not. Mm-hmm. Or when she's taking a shower, just like take Kool-Aid and dump it over.
I would be so mad. That would be crossing a line. And Thomas would never do that because he knows I would be so mad if he dyed my hair. But you would be mad if you dyed my hair. You don't want my hair to look different.
So it's just Kool-Aid. It's not going to last a long time.
Long enough. Long enough for you to be in so much trouble. Look at me. That would be crossing a line.
Your voice says that would be crossing a line. Your face is smiling right now. No, she's trying not to smile. She can't help it. Maybe ask her if there's anything preventing her from feeling like she can relax and have fun. So take some responsibility and make some changes. Use it as motivation to work on your relationship, not to like put it down. Build it up instead.
Okay. Here's another way to reframe the way we think about social media couples. If you feel like jealousy arises as you look at another husband dancing with his wife at sunset on a mountaintop overlooking a gorgeous mountain range.
That's going to be a miserable hike down, by the way, in the dark.
Oh, yeah, because if it's at sunset, maybe you have a cabin on top of the mountain. You'll climb down tomorrow. Okay, so rather than just be like, oh, she's so lucky. I wish we could do that. We don't have enough money for that. Whatever. Explore the jealousy, okay? So let's explore it rather than just like push those feelings down or get depressed. Why do you feel this way? Examine those feelings and trace your thoughts. Is it because your husband used to be romantic and he isn't anymore? Is it because he never has been romantic? Is it because he isn't romantic in the ways you want him to be? You want the dancing on the mountaintop, not the flowers over and over again every Friday night after he gets home from work. Could it be that he tried to be romantic and you didn't receive it well? Maybe you rolled your eyes or you laughed or you said, man, this is stupid. Is it because he's stressed and he doesn't feel like he has time to be romantic? Could it be that he's dealing with his own mental or emotional health issues? All right, did he have a father figure who showed him how to be romantic? Maybe he just doesn't know how. So you're going to seek to understand the reasons why you feel the way you feel and why he is the way he is. So do you feel jealous about this mountaintop dancing sunset experience because there's what you feel, there's no romance in your relationship? Is it because you don't have enough money to go to those places? Is it because your jobs don't allow you time off work to go there? Is it because you can't get away from your kids? Like, what's the actual reason you feel the way you feel? And then what is the reason behind why your husband is maybe not romantic? Why is he the way he is? First of all, just to think through some of those ideas that I threw out there. If he wasn't romantic when you married him, you shouldn't be surprised he's not romantic now.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that was one of the ideas was he never romantic?
And that's one of the things I talk to Lysandra about all the time when she says, you're mean or whatever else. I'm like, you knew this. Like, you knew this when we got married. You knew I was a horrible person. So you can't be surprised when that horrible person comes out of me. I
know. And I don't like that because I can't really argue with him except for that I wish that I thought I could change him.
Then you had a lot of people warning you about me, so.
Yeah, and here we are, almost 21 years later. I did it. I did the rounding up. You're rubbing off on me. Anyway, so maybe he has never been romantic. You've got to give him a break. That's not who he is. It's an unfair expectation of him. Now, you can make progress in how to help him with that and gently guide him in the romance area, but you can't expect him to be someone other than who he is. What about the father figure thing? Maybe he never saw anybody be romantic, and his dad wasn't romantic to his mom. If he never had a father figure, show him how to be romantic. Share your heart with him. These are the kinds of things I'd like you to do for me. Tell him the kinds of things. Okay. Maybe you want to show him that social media post and be like, I would love it if we could do these kinds of things, or if you would surprise me with something like this. Be really direct. Have a real discussion with him. Be honest, but be loving.
Okay, so you said tell him the kind of things you'd like him to do. So I'm gonna ask you this, and this is not in the notes at all. So this is off the cuff.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
It's a real response.
What do you got, baby?
What are the kind of things that you find romantic?
Personally?
Yeah, just you personally.
It's so simple, really. Like when you tell me you want to spend time with me and like, let's go on a date night because I just want to be with you. For me, because one of my very top love language is words of affirmation. So I love it when you tell me things like, I love to be around you and I'm so glad that we're together, and like just simple things like that, wanting to be near me. But I would love it if you would take me dancing, like actually out. Not like, oh, we're going to dance in our bedroom. No, thanks.
Wow, okay.
Oh, that's right. I said be honest, but be loving. My bad.
Yeah, you left off that last part, didn't you? Okay.
I love you.
This is a lesson in what not to do.
No, but I do. I want you to take me dancing. I'm trying to think of other romantic things. I'm fine if you buy me flowers. It's not like that's not at all on my radar though. I don't care about getting flowers.
Really, chocolates aren't your thing?
No, But like I love it when you make me a nice salad if I've worked all day. I find that very romantic and I love that.
What if I just pick up a salad on the way home from work?
Yes, you did that last night. Yeah. I loved that. Yes, having a salad, romantic things. That's what I got right now.
Okay.
I mean, I love when we go on our getaway trips.
Yeah.
That the whole time is pretty romantic, and yeah, I just like it when you pay me attention. So that's for me.
Now we've heard the phrase, the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it appears greener. I've heard this phrase, if the grass on the other side of the fence appears greener, it's probably fake. Mm-hmm. Which is not always true either.
It might be true. Like thinking of social media, that might be true. They may be faking the relationship post. They're actually fighting. They put on a quick smile, take the picture. That is fake. But that doesn't mean all of it is. Right.
Like we're recording this. I'm looking over my neighbor's fence right now. Their grass is definitely greener than ours.
Yeah.
Now, here's the reason their grass is greener. First of all, they water it. Mm-hmm. They pay for somebody to come over and take care of their yard, take care of the weeds, the fertilizer. Like they're doing all the stuff, right? That I'm not doing.
What do we do to our yard?
Nothing. Mm-hmm. Like we have the kids mow it every once in a while. So like literally probably every house around us has greener grass than us. Mm-hmm. So.
And we have no intention of watering our yard.
No.
We ain't got that kind of money. We ain't got sprinkler money.
I ain't got time for that. Water down here is expensive. But here's the thing. If the grass is greener on the other side, like, invest in your own lawn. Mm-hmm. Like, don't wish you had their lawn. Like, you could have their lawn. But you'll have their lawn when you take care of your own lawn.
Yeah.
So,
I think about this. Even, we use two examples. The wife seems more fun or the husband seems more romantic or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times it's like, oh, I wish we had enough money to do the things they do as a couple. Like right now, I have friends on social media who are in Switzerland in the mountains where Sound of Music is.
Yeah, I heard about it last night.
Yeah, I showed him the pictures. I was like, take me here. But we really can't go there because we don't have Switzerland money. Okay. Now, but
we do have Benel money.
Yeah, we do. Take me to Benel. If there's dancing in Benel, I'll go. So we can't go very far. We can go to Flagler Beach. We can go to the beach. We can do the free things, right? But The things that we don't know about that family that's in Switzerland right now is they may have scrimped and saved and planned this trip for years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like, for instance, we're not watering our grass because we're not going to spend our money on watering our yard because we'd rather put it in savings for future family vacations and things that we want to do. That's the reason why a lot of our dates are in bed and not out at a fancy restaurant.
Well, and it's also like this. Like in October, we're planning to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But what people won't see in the photos is somebody's given us a free place to stay.
Right.
Which is the most expensive part of a vacation anyway. So there's a lot we don't see and understand just because we see the videos of the photos.
Right. And they also won't see that we started saving in January and have taken on extra work in order to pay for things like flights and food.
We've been saving since 2020.
That's true.
Since my birthday.
Yeah. So like that's the other thing is like when you do see the fabulous things they're doing and you feel like maybe that's the example for you is we don't have enough money to have this fantastic relationship. You know, make the changes you want to make in your life to make it happen or accept the fact that you can't. Because like I accept the fact that we're not going to Switzerland. I have accepted that. It's not depressing me. I'm happy for this family. Someday we might when we have no kids to pay for. But you know, you've got to accept where you're at and what you have.
So, but back to the lawn.
Okay, back to the lawn.
Back to the lawn. So there are times where it's like literally that grass is greener. What we've got to learn to do is to water our own lawn, fertilize our own lawn, get out there and weed, like take care of the issues and deal with the issues so that our lawn has an opportunity to grow and to be healthy. In other words, invest in your relationship. And this is a great way and time to plug relationship refresh. It's, you know, spending time just developing your relationship.
Yeah.
For those that can't make it, we're hoping to be able to literally put that out and make it available through our shop. But whether it's something here that you've got to travel to, maybe you can't travel to it, right? I'm constantly getting ads for marriage things that are happening all around us. There are marriage events happening all around you that you don't have to travel. You can stay at home, but invest in your own relationship. Make it great by being a great spouse. A lot of times we want to change our spouse. Hey, listen, if you just work on you and you change you, that is a powerful influence on your spouse for them to want to learn and grow and make some changes themselves. And also, hey, seek God's help to be content. And I think about what Paul wrote in Hebrews 13, verse number 5. Keep your life free from love of money and be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Now, and so here's what I'm saying. You've got to learn to be content. And contentment is something that is learned over time. And I'm going to have Lysandra share a verse with us in just a second here out of Philippians chapter number 4. But one of the things in the learning process that you might have to do is set some boundaries around social media. Like you may have to take a social media break. Now you don't need to post, you don't need to go on there and post, hey guys, you're taking a social media break. Like you don't have to do that.
But you can if you want to.
No, don't do that. Because honestly, no one cares if you're taking a social media break. But you may have to take a break, or you may just have to get rid of it altogether. Like you may just have to decide, like, social media, I just can't be on there because it's not good for my relationship. I can't be content while scrolling on Instagram or whatever. So, but here, talking about learning to be content. Paul wrote another verse, Philippians 4:11. Lysandra, you share that with us?
Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am in to be content. And I love that because a lot of times we think, oh yeah, they're content because they're rich. Oh, they're content because he's romantic. They're content because she's nice to him, or whatever you might want to put in there, whatever you trick yourself into believing. But the truth is, according to this, we can learn to be content in any situation that we have. And the Apostle Paul was in some horrendous situations. And you can read about that in, where was it that he lists? I can't remember the book that he lists all of his, shipwreck and tested beyond measure and all of the things that he went through. But he was in some horrific situations. And he learned in whatever situation to be content. And you can learn to be content with your situation, whatever it is.
Well, and he tells them here in the context, you can read Philippians 4 in entirety on your own. But he talks about the fact that, hey, I have had abundance. I've had times where I've had nothing. I've learned how to be content in both. And that's the thing, is like, you need to learn to be content when you're taking the trips to Switzerland in the relationship that you have, and those highlight romantic moments. Those fun moments where you're, rubbing butter all over each other's faces, running around while your kids are wondering what the heck's going on. But you also need to learn to be content in your relationship when it's tough, when you're struggling, when you're not seeing eye to eye, when there's conflict. Like, this is my spouse, this is my partner, and I'm content in this relationship, and I'm not looking outside, I'm not looking elsewhere. And we've talked about, we're just focusing in on the jealousy aspect of social media, but there's a lot of other dangers involved as far as like emotionally connecting with people who aren't your spouse and whatever else. And this is not about that. But we've got to learn to be content in all the situations in our relationship.
Yeah. And if social media is the thing that is stealing your contentment, most likely there's actually something else happening. You already have a problem with discontentment.
It just brings up the trigger over and over and over.
Right. So, but if that's you, it's okay to just get off of social media, even if it's for a season or if it's for whatever you need to do. But if you do choose to get off social media, take the time that you would normally spend on social media and invest it in your spouse rather. And really just work on your own, on yourself and on your own relationship.
So here's family meeting tonight. And that is, talk about any feelings of jealousy you've had when scrolling through social media.
So Thomas and I did this at the beginning of the episode. We talked about whether or not we've ever felt jealous on social media and shared that with each other. So you can do a similar thing.
And so you're having this conversation. Describe what led to those feelings and why. I look and I see them having so much fun, and I just wish we could have fun like that. Mm-hmm. Or he was just so romantic. She was, we often look at the guys and say he was so romantic. Girls can be romantic as well. Like, guys want to be pursued as well.
In what ways do you want me to be romantic? I know we're at the family meeting part, but.
Just being thought of is great. When you do certain things, like, I come home and one of my favorite meals is being prepared. Or I'll walk around the corner and there you are in lingerie or something like that, like being pursued.
Okay.
Just in different ways.
Okay.
But we often just talk about guys being romantic, but guys like that as well. Mm-hmm. But we kind of look at those things and well, why did you feel that way? Describe what led to those feelings and why, and then brainstorm together what you can do to improve that part of your relationship. What can we do to water our own lawn? What are the weeds that we need to get rid of? And just talk about the things you love about your relationship. What are the good, strong things that you have going for you? You do have good, strong things going for you. You may feel like there's nothing, but something's there. It may be few and far between, but you've got those positive things. So learn to focus in on those as well, and then work and build on the things that you've got to work on. And then discuss setting boundaries or time limits on social media use. So I know on a lot of your devices, you can literally go in and set a time limit. And so, hey, 30 minutes and this app won't work for me anymore.
Oh, that's great.
And so there are certain things you may have to do as far as actually setting some boundaries and some guidelines and agreeing to those things together.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discuss the proven fact that what you expect of your children can actually affect the outcome. So you get what you expect from your kids. We're going to look a little bit more into that.
I expect that to be a great episode.
It will be then.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah. Social media. What am I doing?
I don't think you have a clue. So, it can be challenging. You know, we do scroll, we see the highlights. You watch the videos of people on their amazing vacations and experiences and everything else. And if you're not putting in a lot of time and energy and effort into building your own relationship and learning to be content in it, it can cause a lot of problems. And so something we have to watch out for, set up some safeguards, and just be investing intentionally in our own relationship. And I know that's one of the reasons why you take time to watch something like Family Meeting, and we don't take that for granted. We know you're watching because you want to invest in your family relationships and your marriage. And so thank you for inviting us into your lives to be a part of that process. If you have any questions, if there's anything that we can ever help you with, please feel free to reach out either through message or even in the comments, and we'll get back to you there. But with that, well, have a great week, everybody.
Bye.